Can you imagine an entire town disappearing beneath the water? Schools, homes, churches, all gone. Today we'll uncover the forgotten story of the towns that sleep beneath America's lakes. Between the 1940s and the 1960s, the United States built hundreds of dams to power cities and control floods. This era of progress was celebrated as a monumental achievement, a symbol of America's ability to harness nature for the good of its people. The towering concrete walls of these dams promised a brighter future, one with abundant electricity for growing cities and protection from devastating river floods that had plagued communities for generations. Newspapers heralded these projects as triumphs of engineering and vision. But this progress came at a profound, often overlooked cost. To make way for the vast reservoirs these dams would create, entire towns had to be sacrificed. Vibrant communities, some of which had existed for over a century, were condemned to be flooded. Families were forced to leave behind their homes, their farms, and the very land their ancestors had settled, knowing that everything they knew would soon vanish under the rising water. It was a heartbreaking trade-off, where the memories and heritage of a few were submerged for the perceived benefit of many. In Tennessee, there was Lewiston, a small, peaceful community nestled along the banks of the Clinch River. Life there was simple, centered around family, farming, and the local church. But when the massive Norris Dam was built as part of the Tennessee Valley Authority project in 1936, the fate of Lewiston was sealed. The water, slowly but relentlessly, began to rise, swallowing the entire town, homes where children were born, fields that had been farmed for generations, and the familiar streets people walked every day were all lost to the newly formed Norris Lake. Today, decades later, the ghost of Lewiston still lingers. Divers exploring the depths of the lake can still find haunting remains of its past, the ghostly outlines of old bridges, sections of forgotten roads, and rusted road signs that once directed a community that is no more. It's a silent, underwater memorial to a town sacrificed in the name of progress. Further north, in New York's scenic Catskill Mountains, a similar story of loss unfolded. Two towns, Neversink and Bittersweet, were sacrificed to quench the thirst of a metropolis hundreds of miles away, to create the Neversink Reservoir, a critical component of New York City's water supply system. Thousands of people were displaced. The process was methodical and heart-wrenching. Entire communities were dismantled, house by house. Churches, cemeteries, and schools, the very pillars of these towns, were all buried beneath the water. Imagine the surreal experience of watching your home, your history, and your community being systematically erased to provide clean drinking water for a distant city. The residents were forced to relocate, but the graveyards posed a unique and somber challenge. In a massive, emotionally charged effort, over 2,000 graves were exhumed and moved to a new cemetery, so that the dead could rest on dry ground while their homes were submerged forever. Imagine watching your entire life sink before your eyes. Picture yourself standing on a nearby hilltop, a silent witness as the waters slowly creep up, consuming everything you've ever known. One old resident of Bluffton, Georgia, a town flooded to create Walter F. George Lake, described the experience with haunting clarity. He said, "We watched our house disappear under the lake, piece by piece. It was like losing a part of your soul. The feeling was one of utter helplessness. A slow-motion tragedy unfolding day by day. First, the water would claim the fields, then the front porch, then the windows, until finally, the roof slipped beneath the surface, gone forever. For those who stayed to watch, the silence left behind was louder than any sound. It was the silence of erased history, of lost homes, and of a community that now existed only in memory. A ghost town resting at the bottom of a man-made lake. Even today, decades after these towns were lost to the water, they continue to fascinate and haunt us. Divers and explorers are drawn to these underwater sites, seeking to connect with a history that has been hidden from sight. In the cold, quiet depths, they find a world frozen in time. Depending on the lake's conditions, some walls, doors, and street signs still stand, perfectly preserved beneath decades of water and sediment. It's an eerie and surreal experience, swimming through the skeletal remains of a forgotten world. It feels as though time simply stopped. A front door that once welcomed a family now floats in the silent dark. A street sign that once guided horse-drawn buggies is now a home for fish. These underwater ruins are powerful, tangible links to the past, reminding us that even what is drowned is not entirely lost. These drowned towns remind us that history doesn't always live above the ground. Sometimes it sleeps quietly beneath the waves, a silent testament to the sacrifices made for progress, waiting for someone to remember its story. The placid surfaces of these beautiful lakes hide deep, poignant stories of loss, displacement, and resilience. They serve as a powerful reminder that our landscape is layered with forgotten histories, and that beneath the beauty of the present, the past is never truly gone. This was Hidden USA Stories, the towns beneath the water. Join us next time as we explore another mystery buried deep within America's forgotten past. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more hidden stories.